Hey there, my name's Eugene, and when I was younger, I always cheated in class. It got really bad in high school. To get an idea of how much I cheated, let me clarify. I bought white-soled shoes with the intention of writing test answers on the bottoms. During tests, I'd sit with a foot on my opposite knee and peek at the shoe for notes. If the teacher gave me a suspicious look, I'd just sit my foot on the ground again. I was great at finding schemes like this. I felt like Walter White. Although due to it being cheating, I guess I was more like Skylar. On the bright side, sometimes writing everything down on my shoes inadvertently made me memorize the material. Cheating works in mysterious ways. I was cheating in every class, from maths and sciences to arts and gym. Yes, I cheated in classes you thought uncheatable. In gym, we wore heartbeat monitors, little chest straps that measured your average heart rate. That way, the teacher could prove whether or not you were working hard enough. Well, I paid a kid $5 to wear mine for the duration of the class. Then I could take it easy and still pass with flying colors. Of course, my heart wasn't getting the exercise it should have been, and as a result, I became overweight. The gym teacher noticed and got concerned. Not that I was cheating, but that I had a condition. Hypothyroidism, to be specific. She sat me down after class one day and showed me some pamphlets. I thanked her, and we never spoke on it again, even though I kept gaining weight. And she was right. I did have a condition, but it wasn't medical. My condition? Being a lazy ass. If only they did have pills for it. Then again, I probably would have just got someone else to take them. In art class, I would claim I was too shy to do my painting in class. I told the art teacher I'd do the painting at home and just sketch it in class. The thing is, I would be sketching a painting that was already finished. I would go to a garage sale or thrift shop and buy a finished painting. Then when submission day came, I'd just bring it in and ta-da! Report card says I'm the next DiCaprio. Or is it Da Vinci? I don't know. I didn't try to. I even cheated on my driver's test. I had a look-alike that took my place. It was right out of a 2000s Disney Channel movie. Of course, when I actually got my license, I was a terrible driver. Swerving around, being in the wrong lane, not using turning signals, using turning signals at the wrong time, using turning signals at the right time but towards the wrong direction. Really mostly just turning signal issues. In high school, I had a nickname due to my cheating, and it wasn't Ferris Bueller. It was that annoying guy who keeps paying others to do his work. In the yearbook, I was voted most likely to be a politician. Go figure. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, I got caught cheating on my grade 12 English exam. It turns out they had a camera in the classroom installed, and the camera caught me referencing my white soles. It also caught me picking my nose, but they didn't have to tell me that. Then they checked the other cameras to see if I had cheated in the same way in other exams. I had. Then they sat me down, showed me the footage, and told me I wasn't going to graduate. They informed me I would have to retake each of the classes they caught me cheating in. ELA, applied math, biology, and accounting. I wasn't angry or sad, just embarrassed. Everyone else had been able to pass their classes. Meanwhile, I was alone in this. I was an orphan from the class and an orphan at home. Well, not really, but that would have been really good storytelling, huh? My parents didn't really care. They were always indifferent about everything. They were always sort of tired and uninterested. No drive when it came to me or my life. I think that's part of why I felt so comfortable taking the easy way out. But in that year where I retook classes, something changed. When I got angry, I turned into a big green monster. No, but seriously, I was actually learning, finding class interesting. For the first time in forever, I was able to answer test questions without cheats. It felt rewarding. Having hard work pay off, it feels really good. Who knew? And then I passed that year. And then I attended university. It too felt rewarding. Now I have kids of my own who do their studying at home with me. I reward their learning. I get them to teach me about what they're finding interesting. I help them understand what they're having trouble with. And the whole thing is still very, very rewarding. Yes, I only had kids to feel rewarded. I mean, wait, what? But seriously, it's great.
Hey there, what's up? My name is Sasha, and this is the story about how I found out I had a twin sister. Back in the 10th grade, I found out I was adopted. That was a shock in itself. My parents told me once I turned 16. They felt that finally I was old enough to understand. And in doing so, they also said that I could contact my birth parents if I wanted. My biological parents. I guess what some people would refer to as my real parents. But I would argue that my real parents are the ones who raised me. After all, they're the only parents I've ever known. And truthfully, we look pretty similar. I kind of wish they hadn't told me because no harm and no foul, right? But the cat was out of the bag. And at first I was really upset. There's something super disorienting about learning that you're adopted, especially because I had a brother who apparently wasn't adopted. I wondered if my parents loved him more because they'd actually, made him the right way. I just had so many weird questions. My folks explained to me that they wanted another kid but couldn't, and so they decided to adopt me. And I mean, again, they've given me a great upbringing, so I can't really be mad, but it's just weird. After going back and forth for a while, curiosity got the best of me, and I told them that I did want to meet my biological parents. They agreed, and we set up a date and time where I could meet them. I didn't sleep much the days leading up to the arrangement. What if they were terrible people that I didn't want to have anything to do with? What if they were awesome people who had actually wished had raised me? But I tried to remind myself that if they put me up for adoption in the first place, there's probably no way they would have been prepared enough to raise me, and that I was lucky to end up where I did. And my folks and I went to go meet my birth parents. We parked outside of their house and walked up to the door and knocked. I started to feel my anticipation building. It was like time was slowing every second. After what seemed like an immeasurable amount of time, the door opened, and there before me stood two strangers who vaguely looked like me. My mom, I guess, began crying and hugged me. My dad, biologically speaking, I guess, just stood there and smiled. I stood completely petrified by the storm of emotions that I was trying to process. Was I sad or happy or angry or excited? Are they not all mutually exclusive? My biological mother backed out of the doorframe and invited us all in. We walked inside, and their dinner table was set up with pasta. At the end of the table, there was somebody else. Another me. Physically, at least. Different clothes, different makeup, different hairstyle. But she looked like me. It was like I was staring into a mirror. The emotions were amplified by two when I realized that I had a twin. And they gave me up, not her. I sat down at the table and we began eating. We talked about really superficial things like school, my hobbies, what they do for a living, my music tastes, that kind of stuff. Then they said if I was ready, they'd be willing to talk about why I was put up for adoption. I agreed. They said that they were barely financially equipped to have one kid, let alone two, that they were only going to give one of us to a couple if they knew they could find a home right away. And luckily for them, a young couple who wanted to have another child was unable to, and they gave me up. And that was my family who'd raised me. I didn't want to, but I finally asked how they decided which one of us to keep. They said it was really hard, so they just flipped a coin. Heads was me, and tails was her. They tossed a quarter, and tails was the one that won. I felt at ease in a sense because I knew it wasn't that I was unwanted. But honestly, it was a hard pill to swallow. My bio-twin sister Mel was actually pretty cool. But I also realized that I was pretty glad I got to get raised in the family that I was raised in. I mean, my bio parents raised Mel to like NSYNC and eat Brussels sprouts. Meanwhile, I got Prince and macaroni. My adopted family is really cool. So, all in all, I guess I'm glad I got given up for adoption. And even though it's a little freaky, it is neat to know that I've got a sister. Thanks for listening.